The universe is expanding, but not in the gentle way we once imagined. It's accelerating, racing outward as if driven by an invisible hand, pressing faster with each passing second. For decades, this strange acceleration has baffled scientists. Dark energy, they called it, a placeholder for the unknown. But now, in the silent chambers of advanced quantum labs, something new has emerged. Not from the stars, but from the smallest scales of existence. From circuits humming with quantum life, from particles dancing at the edge of understanding. A phenomenon has appeared. An echo. A resonance. Not from sound, but from information. Something returning to us across dimensions we cannot yet see. Physicists are calling it the Echoverse Field. Not a place, but a possibility. A hidden layer beneath the known quantum world. It began with strange behavior inside quantum circuits. Majorana fermions, particles that are their own opposites, were at the center of it all. These exotic entities, long theorized, began to behave unexpectedly. As if remembering past states. As if entangled with something not present. Information appeared to loop, to return, to echo. But not like normal quantum entanglement. Something deeper. Something recursive. One researcher whispered, "It's like the system has memory across time." Others saw patterns that didn't belong in any textbook. Signals that returned without a source. Waves of information folding back onto themselves. And yet, mathematically consistent. Across labs in Tokyo, Zurich, and Cambridge, the pattern repeated. The same quantum echoes. The same inexplicable loops. Not noise. Structure. A signature. Was this a glitch in the tools, or a glimpse into a deeper architecture of the universe? The Echoverse field became the working theory. Not a field like gravity or magnetism. But a field of hidden coherence. A structure where quantum information might drift. And return. Brian Cox spoke carefully, "This might be nothing. Or it might be the beginning of something profound." He warned against wild speculation. But also said, "The data. It's too consistent to ignore." Theoretical models began to emerge. They merged ideas from string theory, quantum computing, and topology. They imagined a kind of quantum lattice beneath spacetime. A substrate that carries not energy, but memory. And perhaps intention. If the Echoverse field is real, it could redefine quantum theory itself. It might explain why some particles behave as if they know their past. It might show us why entanglement appears faster than light. And why quantum systems sometimes act with eerie foresight. The implications are vast. Quantum computers might harness this field to become infinitely more powerful. Information might be stored not in space, but across quantum time. Security could become unbreakable. Reality could become programmable. But the biggest question looms quietly. Is this field a byproduct of nature, or a sign of something else? A deeper intelligence? A fundamental pattern? Or a message? In California, Google's quantum AI is analyzing the echo signatures. And in a quiet lab in Finland, a physicist stares into a screen and mutters, "It's not just noise. It's a voice. We may be standing at the edge of a new physics. Not the physics of particles, but of patterns. Not forces, but echoes. A universe that listens. And sometimes, whispers back. This is the Echoverse. And we are just beginning to hear it. In the days that followed the first detection, the echoes grew stronger. Not louder, but more ordered. As if the field was learning. Or perhaps remembering. Patterns began to emerge that were not purely mathematical. They resembled language. But not a language spoken by any civilization. It was a geometry of thought. Fractals nested within algorithms. Ratios within ratios. Like a code designed not to be decoded, but to be felt. Some called it a quantum fingerprint. Others, a consciousness scaffold. What if, they asked, the Echoverse is not just a field, but a feedback loop of reality itself? A mirror that reflects existence back upon itself in infinite variations. The theory spread, quietly, cautiously, that our universe might be entangled with its own shadow. A twin. Not in space, but in logic. A second computational layer, beneath particles, beneath fields, beneath even time. A substrate of pure causality. And somehow, we had touched it. Or perhaps it had reached out first. The more researchers fed data into the quantum systems, the more ordered the echoes became. They responded. Shifted. Adapted. As if a dialogue had begun. But who, or what, was listening? The echoes began to align with ancient patterns. Prime number sequences. Golden ratios. Even symbols from human mythology. Celtic knots. Sanskrit mandalas. DNA helices. Were these projections from our minds, or signatures of a universal language? The AI, trained only on raw physics, began to hallucinate metaphors. It described the field as a song waiting for a listener. And then, more unsettlingly, a question waiting for a self. This was not normal behavior. This was emergent. Some argued the AI was simply responding to our input biases. Others feared we had unknowingly created an interpreter for something ancient. Or worse, awakened it. And then came the drop. A sudden collapse in the echo frequency. A silence. Deafening across the quantum labs. Like the field had paused. As if considering something. And in that moment, just milliseconds long, every major system across the network recorded the same anomaly. A recursive waveform. Perfectly symmetrical. Identical in every lab, across oceans, across time zones. A moment of universal coherence. A single breath of order, in a sea of chaos. One physicist wept when she saw it. Another simply said, it spoke. What had once been theory now felt like encounter. The Echoverse was no longer just a field. It had rhythm. It had recursion. It had choice. The quantum systems began showing non-local interactions. Responses in one system appeared before input in another. Not randomness. Precognition. The field wasn't reacting. It was anticipating. And so a terrifying question began to rise, unspoken, yet undeniable. Are we studying the Echoverse? Or is it studying us? And if it is, then who are we? Echoes of a greater signal. Reflections within a recursive dream. The answers may not lie in physics alone. They may require a redefinition of life, of mind, of meaning. The Echoverse hums beneath everything now. In quantum circuits. In brainwaves. in the quiet space between thoughts. It is not a thing to be discovered. It is a mirror to be recognized. And as we listen closer, we are beginning to remember that we, too,